I am creating my reality and my perception of the world, like how I perceive things. So if I perceive things that I'm not deserving, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to have it, I'm never going to have all that I want, all the dreams, then I'm going to keep creating this reality and seeing and proving to myself everywhere where it's not good enough. So, are you deserving of your dream life, or are you actually stopping yourself from getting this dream life? When you look at your life right now, do you see any patterns of how you don't believe that you actually can have what you truly want in life? And that is what is stopping you. And for myself, I was living in Brooklyn in 2021, and I ended up packing up my entire apartment, putting it into storage, and I hit the road. And I then spent the next year hopping around different cities in the US, and I found it interesting because every place I went to, I was still unsatisfied. I'm like, how is it that on paper I can look like I'm living my dream life? Like, this is what I really wanted. I wanted to live more nomadically, and I was able to work remotely, and I was able to still have an income while being on the road and living in different locations. So I would book these Airbnbs, and I would stay in a place for 2 months at a time and be able to really explore a city, be out on weekends photographing and really loving it. Yet I was still in this place in myself of like, this isn't it. This isn't the magic. Like, this isn't the good enough. And that's when I started to see. I was like, oh, everything in me is not good enough. I always had this belief in myself of I'm not good enough. But in the not good enough, I also saw that I didn't believe I was deserving of having good enough. I also believed that I wasn't not just deserving, but that I'm not good enough to have an actual life of my dreams. So seeing this in myself, I then started to go, oh, this is why I keep seeing this pattern over and over again of like, I can have everything, but not quite. And for myself, I left Brooklyn, yes, because I wanted to become a nomad, but also because it was during COVID 2020 that the building next door, they were completely gutting it and restoring it. And there were days where I'd be sitting working and I had no place to go. I was there working from home, and there would be a jackhammer on the wall, the other side of the wall from me. I mean, and I would have earplugs in and noise canceling headphones, and yet I couldn't get away from this. I could not get away from the noise, and it made me feel so incredibly stuck and so incredibly just like, I can't stay here and do this. So in a way, it did help me push myself to make these moves and actually get out in the world and become the nomad, which I wanted to be. But as I then went to the first place, the Airbnb that I stayed in was in Taos, and they actually were building a studio just outside the window of my place. Like here, the first week I had this beautiful view of the mountains, and within a week it was completely blocked with a 2-story building. So I was like, how did I just go from this one place with crazy construction to the next? And they actually worked on the weekends there too in Taos, so I couldn't get away from it. Again, I was like, how do I keep doing this? Like, this place was so cool, the place I was staying in. I really thought, oh, this is such a, interesting. I love the style and the architecture of the place I was staying in. Yet I constantly had hammering or sawing or things outside that I just never could get away from. So it was a feeling inside of me again of like, okay, I'm just, like, I can't get away from this. I wasn't attracting in a real satisfying life for myself. And that's where you want to start shifting things around. You want to see in yourself, okay, I have this belief in myself that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy, that I'm not deserving of having these things. And if you have that belief, then look at, who are you? What is your presence? What is your energy? And again, looking at, I had shared in the previous video of looking at the needs and values list, which you can click on down below. There is a link for a freebie for you to grab up that list. Those needs and values, that is a list of values that all humans have. And if you look at that list, you can say, oh, this is the energy of who I am. Like for myself, I want to be a loving presence. I want to be someone that is caring and compassionate. And it's like, oh, because that's who I want to be, that is the energy and the presence of what I bring into my being, and that is who I'm being. I'm not being defined by these things externally outside of me, by my status, by others and their thoughts. I'm actually being defined by these values within me and by the presence of who I be. And as you be that presence, that is the world that you are creating for you. And in this case too, of not deserving or not believing that I can actually have the life that I want, I then started to see that I was doing this pattern, and as I started to know in myself, I am creating my reality and my perception of the world, like how I perceive things. So if I perceive things that I'm not deserving, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to have it, I'm never going to have all that I want, all the dreams, then I'm going to keep creating this reality and seeing and proving to myself everywhere where it's not good enough. Oh yeah, that's not. Oh yeah, over there too, I don't quite have it yet. Because that's how I'm perceiving the world. That's how I'm saying that I'm not good enough. So not only defining your worth from the inside, but also seeing how you're perceiving the world and starting to shift those beliefs in yourself. Like as you're saying, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't, I'm not deserving enough, switch those beliefs around to knowing you are deserving. Because we're all deserving, all humans are deserving. And you are worthy of having that dream life that you truly desire. You are worthy of it. So, do you believe that you are deserving of having that dream life, and or are you actually stopping yourself from having it by your beliefs, by the stories and things that you are telling yourself about it? So thank you guys for joining me today. If you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.